What's up, everybody? Let's Talk Jets Radio. Hope you guys are doing well. Quick video here talking Jets roster, looking at the back end, how many potential spots are open as we approach training camp. Rookies reporting in about 2 weeks, so can't wait for that. We were talking a few weeks ago about starting spots that were open, and there really weren't a whole lot. You got running back, maybe Michael Carter versus Breece Hall. Even though I think it's going to be split time, for the most part between them, maybe 60-40. Opposite C.J. Mosley, maybe you have a linebacker spot that's open. Same thing at safety, opposite Jordan Whitehead. But for the most part, most of your starters are solidified. That's kind of the result of, adding talent in free agency, having a lot of draft picks, high draft picks that are going to be on the roster that are ready to contribute, kind of turning the corner on that rebuild. So you start looking at the back end, and, same kind of thing there. Not really a whole lot of spots that are open. Out of the 53, you take away, your three special teams guys with Thomas Hennessy as your long snapper, Braden Mann your punter, and then your two kickers, whoever wins that job with Pineiro and Zeurlein. You can make a good case that out of your 50 spots, that 40 of those are probably locked up and guaranteed. And even the 9 or 10 spots that are still open, a lot of those guys, in the past 2 years, they were on the field. They were guaranteed playing time. They were guaranteed roster spots, and now they're either fighting to make the team or fighting to make the practice squad. So starting with the quarterback position, I think it's pretty much a given that the Jets are going to be bringing 3 quarterbacks into the season. I'd be very surprised if they only go with 2. I think that there's all the more importance to have a guy like Flacco as that veteran in pads on the sidelines, ready to help out Wilson. Just because you're not bringing back Kavanaugh this year, you're not bringing back John Beck as his personal coach. Not to mention, we all want LaFleur in the booth. That's where he's at his best. So just having that player/coach in Flacco, I think those two had a good rapport last year. So I think he'll be back, and Mike White, he showed he could play within the system. So I think all 3 are going to be back. Maybe Mike White's a potential trade chip if there's a quarterback needy team out there. But I do think they will bring 3 quarterbacks into into the season. You go to running back, pretty much the same thing. I know I brought up Tevin Coleman a few weeks ago as somebody that maybe could be on the bubble, but I'd be very shocked if he gets cut as pretty much the lone veteran of that group. He's not making a lot of money. He provides you some depth on special teams as well. I think that's important. And, it's a young group, and even a Zonovan Knight, I think he's the one guy that could maybe change the dynamic and allow you to keep 4 running backs. Ty Johnson, I don't think he's going to make it. He dropped a bunch of balls last year, had some struggles in pass protection. Well, Michael Pirine, he watched as Alton Walter passed him on the depth chart. But Zonovan Knight, he's a different kind of back, a tough runner. He can get those tough yards in between the tackles, a bigger back. So if he really steps up, maybe you do keep 4 backs. But I think that 3 spots are at least guaranteed and locked up right now. Same exact thing really at tight end where you signed Uzomah, you signed Conklin, and then Ruckert as a 3rd-round pick. I think he's kind of also that guy that can maybe change the dynamic if he could provide you some versatility at Hback. I know Chris Sims did a great breakdown, about how Ruckert's one of the guys in this draft that you could really move around anywhere. He can win a one-on-one battle in the slot. You could put him at Hback. So if he could really step up there, maybe that pushes Trayvon Wesco and Nick Bowden out and allows you to keep only 3 tight ends, but you do have some depth there. Lawrence Cager, converted receiver, big-bodied guy, athletic. Same thing with Yeboah, another athletic guy. So those are 2 definite candidates for the practice squad. But if they really step up, maybe you do keep 4 tight ends. Going to receiver, I'll say that 4 spots are guaranteed. I'd like to put Mims in there, but let's be honest, he's fighting for a roster spot. He's got a lot to prove this year. I know he was a 2nd-round pick, but clearly, he watched as a lot of receivers, including Tariq Black and Jeff Smith, passed him on the depth chart last year. He's definitely in shape. He's got a year under his belt to learn the offense. He's clearly motivated. He's got a chip on his shoulder. But his spot is by no means guaranteed. The top 4 definitely are, though, with Berrios, Corey Davis, Elijah Moore, Garrett Wilson. Jeff Smith, he's somebody that, maybe can contribute on special teams, carve out a spot. Calvin Jackson, talented undrafted free agent. DJ Montgomery coming back also. But I'll say that 4 spots are guaranteed there. You go to offensive line, and I'll say you got 7 spots that are guaranteed on the O-line. Going left to right, Fant, Tomlinson, McGovern, Vera Tucker, and then Becton. Your depth, Feeney's guaranteed. He can provide some versatility, guard and center. And then Max Mitchell, 4th-round pick, he's not going to get cut. Probably not going to be active on game day as a rookie, but certainly not going to get cut. So you definitely need at least 1, if not 2 tackles to to back up for Becton, just to make sure you have some insurance there. So right now, you got McDermott, you got Edoga, you got Hermans. I think you definitely have to bring in a veteran at some point. Nate Herbig, he provides some versatility at guard. He's somebody that can make it, but you need another tackle. Maybe one of McDermott or Edoga wins a depth spot, but you still need a proven guy there. So I'll say that 7 spots are guaranteed with, another 2 that will probably make it between Herbig and probably a free agent signing, maybe Edoga, maybe McDermott. We'll see. Switching to the defense. D-line's tricky because you got a lot of talent, you got a lot of guys. I'll say that 8 are guaranteed between Lawson, Quinn Williams, Franklin Myers, Jermaine Johnson, Jacob Martin, free agent signing. He's guaranteed to make it. Rankins, he's making a bit of money. Some talent there, though, and you lost Fatukasi, so I think him and Solomon Thomas are both guaranteed, to provide some depth up the middle. Not to mention with the way that, we rotate defensive linemen, they're going to keep a lot. Michael Clemons, 4th-round pick, he's also going to make it, so that's your 8 right there. I'm tempted to throw Bryce Huff into that conversation as well. I think he's worthy. Very high pass rush productivity win rate. But, whether or not you go with him or maybe a Vinny Curry, I think there's maybe still some competition there. You could throw, Jabari Zuniga in the mix as well. Tim Ward, Hamilcar Rashid, he made some plays in camp last year. Tanzel Smart, Nathan Shepard, forgot him as well. So you got a lot of guys here. I think they ultimately probably keep 10. But the top 8, I think, are pretty solidified. I'd be shocked if any of the top 8 go anywhere. And then you got 2 spots that are probably up for grabs between Huff, Vinny Curry, Shepard, maybe even Bradley and Zuniga. So you got 2 spots that I think are probably up for grabs there. Linebacker, it's interesting with linebacker because you only have 8 on the roster. And the top 5, while not a whole lot of talent other than C.J. Mosley, they're probably locked in unless, barring, Sherwood with a setback, following his injury and surgery. Marcel Harris, he's the veteran of that group. He's got that experience, safety / linebacker hybrid type. Nasirldeen, he's coming back. He showed you some things last year, converted safety. And then you got Quincy Williams as well. So I think those 5 are set. There's not really a lot of competition. Delshon Phillips, DQ Thomas, Javin White, like those guys aren't really going to, I think, realistically push for a spot. You go to cornerback, I'll say that 5 are probably guaranteed between Gardner, Reed, you got Hall and Eichols, who were your starters last year, that are now going to be depth, and then and Michael Carter. And then you're probably going to keep 6, maybe 7. So there's a spot open between, Justin Hardy, he's probably your best special teams guy. Isaiah Dunn last year as an undrafted free agent, he showed you some things. And then you also have Javelin Guidry, he provides you some depth in the slot as well. And then at safety, I say 3 spots are probably locked with Whitehead, LaMarcus Joyner. He's also another guy, linebacker / safety hybrid. I think they were really looking forward to using him in a lot of different ways last year before he got hurt. And then you got Pinnock also. I think they'll probably keep 4 with 1 spot up for grabs between Ashton Davis, Will Parks, and Elijah Riley. So, just kind of looking at that list, you add it all up with, 3 safeties, 5 corners, 5 linebackers, 8 D-line, 3 running backs, 3 tight ends, 4 receivers, 7 O-line, and 3 quarterbacks. That puts you right at like 40-41. So with 9 spots open, you're definitely going to keep at least 5, if not 6 receivers. So you need 1 or 2 receivers, 1 or 2 more offensive linemen between, Herbig, McDermott, Edoga, or possibly, hopefully, a veteran. There's room to maybe keep a 4th tight end between Cager and Yeboah. They're definitely going to keep another 2 defensive linemen, like I said, with Huff, Vinny Curry. I really want to throw Huff in there as guaranteed. I really like his game, but I still think he's got to earn it. And then I think linebackers are probably set. Maybe you do make a move, and if you do bring in a veteran, maybe that pushes Harris out. But I think your top 5 in some capacity are just about set. And then there's still room to keep another corner and another safety. So hope you guys enjoyed. Talk to you later.